Welcome to the 2019 State of the City, Casa Grande State of the City event. And thank you all for coming out. I really appreciate it. First of all, because I always forget, I want to thank my wife Nancy for being here and my daughter Kelly also. Also I want to introduce our City Council here with us today. Mr. Matt Herman, Mr. Lisa Fitzgibbons, Bob Huddleston, Mr. Dick Powell, and Donna McBride, our Mayor Pro Tem. And also, I know there's a couple of past council members here who are really critical to the success and the implementation of this building that we're in, so I want to recognize them. I saw Carl Montoya, he's here. Carl, stand up, would you? There he is. And I understand Ralph's here too. Ralph Varela? Ralph, there he is. I know Bob Jackson was going to try and get here. He's doing a math thing out at CAC, so I don't think he's here yet, but when he does pop in, we'll give him a little recognition as well, because he was actually very critical in the building of this building as well. So first things first, so I want to ask if you would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance by standing. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So did you look around at all? Did you look around at the building? Is this amazing building? Is this amazing place? It's hard to imagine. It's been 13 years in the making. 13. We passed a bond in 2006, almost this time of year, because it was before we switched seasons on elections. 13 years, and finally we're here. This is, thank you to Hayden. You guys did a fantastic job. I think they're standing up in the back there. Kind of wave for me, if you would, please. Thank you guys. You did a phenomenal job. Also to staff, Steve and your group and everybody, thank you, and Larry for all of the work that you all have done on this amazing building, and thank you for making it happen. So, thank you. So, let's take a look at how this great facility was built. All right, so you all are getting a sneak peek because the actual grand opening isn't until May 6th, but the $18.2 million, 55,000 square feet. It has an indoor walking track, a double gym, and the walking track is above the gym. If you get a chance, make sure you check it out. I think there's some games and stuff that they're doing inside the gym, so if you feel athletic today and you want to break a little sweat, go in there. They got, I think, cornhole and basketball and some other stuff that they're doing. So we set it up just to have a little bit of fun. We're also going to open these doors at the end because this hole opens up into a patio, so all those windows slide open. So this is a great facility for events, special events that the city's going to use it for. In addition, there's some spin classes and some other classes that they're going to go. The schedule of events is on your chair. The little map-looking thing, that is a schedule of activities. Also, the Boys and Girls Club new main headquarters, or their main office and main club, is moving here to this building. They're going to take over that northwest corner. They'll have their separate entrance. In fact, there's an opportunity, if you're so inclined, to have your name engraved in a little brick that you can have your name permanently in the sidewalk out there. So they're looking for help with funds to help buy furniture, buy new computers. So they had to furnish their entire space. So a big expense for the club, and any help, look for Matt Lemberg and some of his staff out in the lobby. They have a Boys and Girls Club table out there that you can actually get your name engraved in permanent. Just as a reminder too, the Boys and Girls Clubs serve over 650 kids a day. So over 200 of them will be here at this facility. And with the help and cooperation of the elementary school district, we get the kids bused here. So it's a huge, huge cooperative effort between the city, between the club, and between the elementary school district. So it's really, really a good deal. In addition, there's a teen center that's going to be opening here. That's the garage roll-up doors that you saw as you came in. That's a teen center. It's open to the public during the day, but certain hours it'll be dedicated to the teens. So again, that'll be the second teen center that the Boys and Girls Club is going to operate. They'll have one at Vista, and they'll have one here. So again, the grand opening is May 6th. If you want to become a member, there's a legacy membership, which if you sign up between now and December 31st, because we realize that some people have contracts at other places that maybe they can't get out of, or if you just want to wait till December 31st, that's good too. But you can sign up. You can actually sign up today. So when you exit out here, we're going to harass you till we get everybody in this room to sign up, because that would put us halfway towards our goal. So there are rates, special rates that you can, if you take a look, that's also on your chair. I don't want to see these left on the chair. I want to see them in your pocket when you leave, especially if I know you live here. So you can also sign up online. You can see the website there. It's Casa Grande AZ, or casagrandeaz.gov, and then /CRC for Community Rec Center. Again, just as a reminder too, your membership gets you access to the Palm Island Aquatic Park in Carmack-Nat as well. So this is a beautiful center. This is a beautiful facility, the Community Recreation Center. It's a new centerpiece for our community. It's part of our great year that we've had and we're having and we'll have next year. But our success wouldn't be possible without the passion and dedicated employees who often go beyond the call of duty. So here's a story I want to share with you of compassion from our animal care and adoption department. So let's take a look at Cuddles.
Myself and Officer Chavez went over to a neighborhood, and there was a pit bull. It had cables on it and chains on it, and it was hooked to this man's brick wall in his front yard. And the man said that he just happened to see the dog out there, got him back to the shelter and started looking at him and went, wow, this is pretty intense, and decided that first thing in the morning I would take him to Casa Grande Animal Hospital and they would take a look at him. He had just raw red skin, all exposed and scabbing, and of course he was full of ticks, and it was a mess. And so the vet, he did great with his exam, and they always help us out the best they can, but his quote of how much it was going to be just to get him cleaned up and starting to heal, and of course it would be a process, would started at $800. So since I had some vet teching skills, I decided, well, we can't afford that as a team here. So, but he gave me some tips on, showed me what to do, told me what to do, and I took him back, and for the next 3 or 4 days, he had baths in our tub here at the shelter. And we debrided, which means pulling off all that old skin till it was down to just nice pink raw skin, which is the healthy skin, although it makes it look horrible before it heals. So he was such a trooper. He would get very tired though. He I'd have to give them breaks, and that's why it took 3 or 4 days to get it done. In the meantime, we put him on antibiotics, and of course, we vaccinated him, and we gave him everything. We dewormed him and did everything else we could for him. About a week into it, we noticed that he wasn't gaining weight, although he was eating, and he started favoring his right rear leg. We had him tested for valley fever, and sure enough, his titer was very high for valley fever. Well, that in itself is very expensive to take care of, so we did what we could. We got started on some meds, and didn't really know how far we were going to get to go from there on it, though, because we knew this was a big chunk to take out. And you have to realize, if you save this one dog and you spend $800 on this one dog, that's maybe 5 or 6 dogs in the community that you could have had spayed or gotten to a home. But then we started putting some word out, and we got the help of a guardian angel, a woman that decided she heard a story and that she would take this on. And Officer Tiemann took him back and forth to veterinary specialists in Tucson. They did 12 different treatments, 2 or 3 times a week, I believe. The whole time, he was just the sweetest dog from the get-go. Everybody's his friend. And we had decided at the beginning that we could have given him some ogre name because he looked kind of like a big bully, but we decided to call him Cuddles because of his personality. And it's not, even though we tried to change it a couple times. So he actually took the hearts of a lot of people, and one being one of our own animal control officers, and that's Officer Tiemann, and she decided to adopt him. He's going to still need treatment. It's still going to be pretty pricey to take care of him, but it's worth it. He's a great dog.
So help me congratulate Lisa Hartman, Julie Tiemann, our supervisor, and help me welcome Cuddles and Mr. Bojangles. Also, Ruth Frost is here as well, so please welcome everybody. Look at that outfit. Hey, buddy. Hey. All right, so actually Julie is now the proud partner of Mr. Cuddles here, so thank you guys. Great job. Mr. Cuddles is alive and well. So is Mr. Bojangles. How about that dog? As I was reminded, that's why you need to get your male dogs spayed. Is that the right word? Or neutered, not spayed, neutered. Fixed. There we go. Get him fixed, because that's what happens when you run into a car. The car won, but he's got good spirit.
He's on permanent medical foster from the city of Casa, Grande.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, that was the loophole, so I could keep him where I live.
Ah. He's in foster care.
No, yeah, kind of.
Thank you. All right. So, family-friendly community. Also, we're a diverse community. The Community Recreation Center embodies the commitment to making Casa Grande the premier place to live, work, and play. It's also a great place to raise a family. So here's some of the things we're working on. $8.6 million in a renovation of Carmack Nat Park. If you haven't been by the park, please go by it. It's in total shambles right now. But by October, September, October, hopefully October, it'll be a premier park like it was when it was first opened. We're going to add $8.6 million there. That includes a playground area, a covered splash pad that Matt's been trying to get for years. And it'll be right next to the new parking area on right off of McMurray, so you can have direct access to that facility. It'll be right next to the pool. So all new landscaping. I don't know if you noticed the palm trees that are going up. If you've driven through the area, there's some very cool big palm trees they're putting in. There's a new walking and running track that's going to be put in there, but it'll be like a DG type track with LED lighting. The skate park will reopen. It stays. We're going to have a new basketball court, new tennis courts, 5 new fields for the kids to play on. So it's a total renovation of Carmagnat Park. It's going to be a beautiful facility when it's done. In addition to that, we have $500,000 we're putting into Dave White, and that will go towards 12 pickleball courts. So if you're a pickleballer, that should be good news to you. The tennis courts are moving from Dave White to Carmagnat, so there's still going to be tennis courts for those who are tennis players. And then on top of that, there's a new bathroom that's going to be built out at Dave White, Ramada's repaired, and also a cover for the playground equipment that's out there, so it'll be under shade. In addition, your elementary school district opened a brand new Saguaro Elementary and Casa Grande Middle combination. If you've not been to the facility, it is fabulous. It is state-of-the-art. So Casa Grande has really stepped it up this last year in terms of some new facilities and that quality of life thing for our community. So the Catfish Rodeo. If you haven't been to a rodeo, you really need to go to the Catfish Rodeo. So the Parks and Recs Department is organizing all kinds of events. In fact, some of the events are on that sheet that you have here for this facility, and along with our 4th of July celebrations, our Halloween programming, all kinds of events that are done throughout the city. So please keep an eye on the websites. There's library activities as well. There's the library walk that's in the Peart Park that's absolutely fabulous. If you have any grandchildren or children, please check it out. It's amazing. We basically touched every park in the city this last year with either new or upgraded playground equipment and or new ground cover. So every park has had something touched in it. We're also working on implementing now the trail plan, which we've had sitting collecting dust for probably 15 years. But we're going to dust that off and start to take a look at that and see how we can take this community center and make it the hub of a bigger program and trails throughout the city. So we're working on that, and we continue to do so. So, and as you all know, it's very difficult raising a family, and it's challenging today. So I wanted to share with you some videos of some local people, and how they're dealing with it, and what it's about here in this place that we call Casa Grande.
My name is Rocky Villarreal. I grew up here, so I'd be the 3rd generation. Went through school, met all my good friends, moved away, went to college, did all that stuff, and we decided to come back. It was a good fit.
Allie is in volleyball, softball, soccer. Ava likes to do kind of music stuff and library. Seth likes soccer. Only soccer.
For sure, Casa Grande, it's still a small town, even though it's gotten a lot bigger over the years. There's a lot of family, friends from here. Everybody kind of knows each other. That's what we like about it.
The library offers a lot, especially in the summertime, to help keep the kids busy. And because I work from home, you know, it's easy because it's so close and the town is so small, it's easy to get the kids where they need to be and still do what I need to do.
Drive our RC cars around here, ride bikes, sports, of course. There's a lot to offer here.
My name's Anthony Maestas. This is my wife, Tisha Maestas. We have 2 kids, Drake and Reese Maestas.
There's plenty of parks in Casa Grande around the entire county for us to enjoy, but we live less than a quarter mile from a park that we love to enjoy and hang out at.
I think the biggest challenge that I see is that this is a generation that's growing up. It's a bit different. There's so much social media influence and so much desire for them to be a part of social media. As much as I can steer them away and keep them entertained by getting outdoors and going to events and being close to family as much as possible, so that they're not sitting somewhere just staring at a phone all day.
It's a really down-to-earth feeling here. I feel like, you know, we still have the country roads, we still have the cotton farms, and those are things that we enjoy. We like that country feel. However, you know, we can run to a store and have a great dinner too.
Great infrastructure, good economic development, good housing, good community, great weather, no rush hour, and we have everything that the big cities have with the down-home feeling. I think as far as raising a family, you couldn't ask for much more with a safe community, the growth potential here, the school systems here, and the ability to be able to raise your kids in an environment where you feel as if they're not growing up too fast. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful place to raise your family.
So just one plug for the Public Safety Day that's this Saturday. It's April 6th, 10 to 2 p.m. It's at the Paul Mason Sports Complex. If you haven't been to the event, it's a really good event. It's got a lot of good information. Police department's there, fire department's there. They do some demonstrations, usually with the dogs, which is kind of interesting and fun. And they hand out some really cool pens. So if you need some good pens, I highly recommend it. So Casa Grande continues to grow. We're continuing to growing, and we've in this past year, over 26 different major projects that the city has touched. Some are active, some are not, but it just continues to get more and more active. We are really the talk of Arizona. When I go to meetings up in Phoenix, I hear it all the time. So what's going on in Casa Grande? You know, what are you guys doing down there? I mean, it's amazing how many people know where we are today. And so it's a good thing. We just need to manage it. So why do we continue to grow? Well, as they say in real estate, location, location, location. So that's one reason. It's only one reason. You know, we are at the apex of I-10 and I-8. We are the site of future I-11. We're between 2 international airports. We have our own airport as well. We're right on the main line in the Union Pacific as well. We've got lots of land. If you knew it or not, we have 6 industrial parks that are shovel-ready next to 3 of the major transportation intersections in the state. We're probably the only one that touches all 3 of those and that is actually shovel-ready. We have less congestion, as I heard somebody say. We have no traffic, I think in the video. So let's take a look at some of the things that are on the horizon. Lucid Motors, electric car company that is announced, that everybody I know knows about it, you've heard about it. We expect that there should be a groundbreaking in the second quarter, hopefully of this year. We haven't got the exact date yet. When we do, though, we will make sure that everybody knows. It sits on 500 acres. It will build out 2,000 jobs. 2,000 jobs. It's a $700 million CapEx program, $700 million plant. That's $700 million. Good paying jobs here in Casa Grande. On top of that, Nikola has just announced and actually just purchased the land over in Coolidge in the inland port, which actually, I think Jacob Anderson's here, and St. Holdings. So that project is moving forward. And if you think about it, the combination of the two, between Lucid and Nikola, this becomes the hub, the headquarters, the global center for electric-based vehicle manufacturing and research development. That's huge. That's a huge plus in our bonnet, in our cap. And we need to push that. We need to push that hard because that brings lots of ancillary business and high-paying jobs to this area. And thanks to St. Holdings, because he actually has his fingers in both of these, the Lucid and the Nikola project, because both of these are in his part of his industrial park. So in addition to that, trying to work with our CAC and the universities, trying to build a science technology center here in Casa Grande. That is my number one goal right now, that besides water, is to try and bring that and I-10. Sorry. I get distracted. It's like a squirrel. Like squirrel. So additional projects that are still out there, Atessa, Dreamport Village, Phoenix Mart. I don't have a lot to add to them. I do know that Atessa is still very active and is planning to break ground in December. The other two, they're on hold. They're still looking to line up financing. So as we hear more, we'll let you know. I have been in contact with all three of them here recently, and they're all still three alive. So that's what I'm here to report today anyway. LKQ, another corporate Fortune 500 company that's landed in town. If you haven't seen it, it's out off Thornton, south of Gila Bend Highway. It's a 100,000 square foot office and warehouse space. It employs 100 new employees, high-paying jobs. They actually are the world's largest recycler of auto parts. So they take cars and tear them all down to the final little pieces, and they resell it. So if you are into car collections or you have older cars that you've needed parts for, I guarantee it's come from this corporation. They're a good new business here in town for us. Housing starts. I've talked about this a bunch here recently. Larry and I went on a road trip. We've been on the road trip for the last 2 years and talked to every builder in the state of Arizona, at least those who would listen to us, and talk to them about Casa Grande, talk to them about how we are the greatest place to come build a house and how we have the need for more housing. So in 2017, and actually the previous 10 years, it was like 100 permits a year. In 2018, it was almost 355 new permits in 2018. Well, in January of 2019, it was 101 in January. We were over 50 in February, which is a shorter month. So that's over 150 new permits in the first 2 months of 2019. So that 500 estimate, that might be low if we continue the way we're continuing. We have at least 3,000 infrastructure-ready lots that have water. Some have streets. All of them have sewer and some sort of infrastructure. So we are poised to grow and to grow rapidly. In addition to that, we've been working with Arizona Water and our own folks and combining our plat information and their water information and their water certificate information. And it's estimated now that within our operating area, which is a little bigger than the city limits, there's probably around 25,000 platted lots that have a water certificate. So if you hear that we don't have water, we have water for houses. We are struggling to make sure that we can get water for the big projects like an Casa, like a Dreamport Village, like a Phoenix Mart. So there are some challenges still on that front. We're also working on a lot of mixed use housing, so apartments, affordable housing. So all of that is still on the radar, and we're still working on trying to improve that as well. Your council and I sat down about a year ago, and we actually had a seminar that we got together with the directors, and we came up with a new strategic plan for the city, because we wanted to give the directors some direction in terms of what we felt the community needed and what was important. So these were the 5 areas that we felt were the most important: quality of life, marketing, education, fiscal responsibility, and infrastructure. A lot of stuff can fit underneath those, believe me. So we came up with goals for those. Under quality of life, for example, park renovations, which you've seen. That's all been an outcome of the strategic plan. Trail system, we're dusting it off, as I mentioned. Blight removal. That was really Mr. Powell's focus on the south side. He says we got to get those lots cleaned up, so we're doing it. And so we're spending some money. Some of it is impact fees, some of it is general fund money, but we're going to dedicate 1% of our general fund money each year for the next 5 years to help clean up blight and get some of these areas cleaned up and get Casa Grande looking like it should. The DDAX program, that's Chief McCrory's program. Actually, it's not his program, but he's pushing it. And it's a concentrated effort to take a look at areas in the city that may have had a higher crime rate, traffic accidents, break-ins, that type of thing, graffiti. And so we focus the police efforts, actually make sure if they're going to be on the west side, they come and they travel through it, so that basically there's just a higher police presence in the area. And it's a data-driven approach to crime and traffic safety. They put that on there because I couldn't remember what DDAX stood for. And then last, the Neon Park, and not to be outshone, pardon my pun, but they're really stepping it up. And I know Rena's here. I saw Marge here, Marge Jantz, and everybody who worked on that project. It's you should give these guys a round of applause too. So the grand opening is Saturday, April 13th. I think this weekend you'll see this in the newspaper, is that right? So this will be in the newspapers, so keep an eye on that. I was out there the other night, and the signs, even not lit, look amazing. So it's really, really coming together. If you haven't seen it, please go take a look at it. And of course, make sure you're there on Saturday the 13th, 7 o'clock. When are we going to flip the switch? It's a secret? You got to show up. Okay, one of our other areas of strategic plan is the community or the marketing of Casa Grande. One thing that I've always touted is that charities and governments are terrible marketers. They don't know how to market, and they don't market. It's just not their business, not their job. So taking a look at what we can do to, number one, improve the image within ourselves, but also the image and exposure outside of the city of Casa Grande. And one of those ways, and we're going to be moving forward with it in the next 6 months, is to create a community marketing office. And that office actually will be under the auspices of the chamber. At least that's the plan today. That could change, so don't hold me to that. But the community marketing office then would have a budget to go out and actually buy spaces in all of the Arizona Office of Tourism offices, where we would have a travel brochure for Casa Grande. You know, what to do in Casa Grande, where to go. So we're going to have those in all of the AOT offices around the state. We're going to have them at the airports, the international airports here in Arizona. So we're going to try and get some additional exposure. We're also going to try and put some billboards out on I-10 that say when you hit Surprise, it says you could be home by now if you lived in Casa Grande. And it costs you $100,000 less to buy a house. I don't think Surprise is going to like that, but that's their problem. Again, we're doing citizen surveys. We're also doing, we did business retention surveys, which is actually already completed. The citizen survey is coming, so we are going to ask for your opinion on things. We want to know what you think, what you're feeling. You know, how can we get better? How can we make Casa Grande even better than it is? We have a Shop Local program that's here also. And I know that Katie Vasquez is here. Katie, where are you? There she is. If you want to know Shop Local, see that young lady on the back wall there? She's got it going. We're also working on a new economic development magazine that will come out probably, I'm hoping, in the next couple of months. Kind of depends on Lucid, but look for it. It'll also feature what's going on and what's right about Casa Grande as well. And it's a book basically that we use with industry and new business and existing business. When people send out, for example, the elementary school sends out recruitment information. They include this book in that recruitment information. So it tells somebody who doesn't know anything about Casa Grande, you know, what's going on here. And then downtown and the ULI, the Urban Land Institute, was here about a month ago and gave us a report on our downtown area. So we're going to continue to try and do some things that might or should help say, yeah, it's hard for me to say, but to help downtown and make it more relevant. It's relevant now, but I think we can make it even more relevant. It needs some features. It needs something to draw people down to downtown. I know people who live up on the north side of town have never been in downtown, so we need to fix that. So we need to have some reason for them to come downtown, besides, you know, a couple of really good events that we do down there. So we'll continue to work on that. As far as education, if you've ever heard me speak, you know that I talk a lot about workforce and education and workforce development. They go hand in hand. If our education isn't working towards building a better and more trained workforce, then we're going to be stymied. And these 2,000 jobs that come in, we're going to just have to go outside somewhere and get them. We're going to need some outside help anyway, but there's no reason why we can't educate some of our folks that are here today to get a better job and to make more money. And when they make more money, then our community benefits. So again, workforce development is key. CAC is a key partner of that. They've worked with us. They have actually worked with Lucid to build a program, a special certificate that they're actually training young people on right now. They've had two sets of classes. I think there's about 40 in each class, so there's about 80 new young people who have actually gone out and gotten these higher paying jobs because of that training program. So CAC is a key partner. High schools are partners as well, so we're working with the high school, CAC, Arizona at Work, and Chief Penal. All of those combined are working towards the same goal, and that is to help educate and build a better workforce. So it's critical element to our future. One thing I did want to mention on the Chief Penal, they actually use what's called a progress meter. And I don't know if you've ever heard of Achieve 60. I've talked about it before, but Achieve 60 says that by 2030, 60% of all adults between the ages of 24 and 64 need to have a post-high school diploma or degree to get a job. 60%. Pinal County today is at 29%. So we have a long way to go. And it's going to take a lot of effort by a lot of people to get it there. So keep that in the back of your mind as we move forward. So another one of our strategic plans, fiscal responsibility. This year we're in the middle of the budget process. The CIP committee is completed, and that'll be wrapped up and then moved into the budget process, where we'll have a meeting with the council, and it's actually open to the public. It'll be out at the safety building, and then all the staff and everything will go through the entire budget, and we look at it almost line by line. And it's a long day, but it's important. It sets a stage for the next year. Again, benchmarking our positions. Basically what that means is we look at outside agencies, we look at other cities, and then we look at our staff and say, are we compensating our staff comparable, and are we getting, getting the best people, which I think we have the best people. We just want to make sure we keep them. So we need to benchmark that and make sure we're competitive in that area. Privatization, what that means basically is we look, if we can find an agency that can run a part of the city better than we can, more efficiently and at a better cost to the citizens, then we should look at it. An example of that is the crew that works at the golf course. So the maintenance of the golf course, that's a private company that does that. So we outsource that. But we're going to be looking at other possible areas to do the same. And then in planning and development, automation, we've already started to move into the automation. Paul Tice and his team you can actually now go online when if you're a builder, and you can actually order an inspection on your phone, and they'll tell you when they're coming, and then when they're done, they'll tell you if it passed or what's wrong, and you all get it on your smartphone. So we're automating that process. We're also going to automate the application process as well. So in the past, you have to go down to the development department and you got to get all your paperwork. Now we're going to automate it, put it online, and there's no pressure, Paul, to get that done. Infrastructure is also is like number 4. Internet access. We want 100% internet access to everyone in Casa Grande. That's our goal. We're working towards that. We have a transit plan. The council is going to actually see the final transit plan on April 15th this month, and we will have an opportunity to ratify it, basically accepting it as our plan. The trail systems, as I said, we're going to dust it off. We're going to really make a concerted effort in the next year to really try and get some actual bike trails built here in Casa Grande. And then lastly, the roads and highways, or call it the traffic plan. We have courts and TI we're working on. These are all projects that are in various stages in their life cycle. That's the I-10 courts and interchange. Not Courtson, yeah, Courtson. And then the Thornton Road, that needs to be done before Lucid opens. So 4 lanes down Thornton all the way to I-8. And then also there's work that's going to be completed on the Gila Bend Maricopa Highway as well. We're not getting the 4 lanes that I want, but at least we'll get it resurfaced so it's not like a rut. I know I can put my car on that road and let my hands off the road, and I can track all the way to Maricopa. Just an update too on the RTA, the PRTA, that's the Pinal Regional Transportation Authority. It's easy for me to say. It's still in litigation, but they are still collecting the tax. Those 3 projects that I named actually are projects that are part of that RTA and would be paid for through that tax. So I'm hoping that it gets out of litigation, because we will be shovel ready for those 3 projects, and we can use all the $13 million that they have in the bank right now. So that's how much they've collected, and they will continue to collect it, and that's been going on now for, I think, a year. Is that right, Irene? A year? Okay. It's my transportation expert over here. All right, so looking ahead. As you've heard, if you've ever heard me talk, you know that I-10 widening is a pet peeve of mine. I've been talking about it for probably 3 years, about a year before I even became mayor, since no one was even mentioning that we needed to widen I-10 between Casa Grande and Chandler, basically. It is now a reality that it's an official plan, and I have it. It's right here. Look, see that red line? That's it, right there. And if you want to know anything about it, it's called Interstate 10, State Route 202, Santan, to State Route 387. That's how you have to find it in the ADOT files. So it's actually planning. I can't believe it's actually, because it was supposed to be like 10 years from today that they're going to actually start thinking about it. But I was with the Gila tribe, or the community, last night at dinner with the Central Arizona Project Board. And so I thanked all of them for their coming on board and being helpful in getting this going. So through MAG, which is Maricopa Area Governments, and the Gila tribe and ADOT, we actually now are in the official planning process. It's about a $10 million process, but it's actually funded and it actually is going to happen. Now we just need to find the probably $500 million to build it. I'll take collections if anybody wants to give any money. Through the Mayor's Task Force on Homelessness and with the help of Donna McBride and Lisa Fitzgibbons, two of my council members, this actually is coming to fruition. It's actually happening. We formed this task force over a year ago and wrapped it up in August and transitioned the 7 committees that we came up with to the Homeless Coalition. And the Homeless Coalition now is continuing to carry those committees forward, and each committee is responsible for different areas. For example, my committee is affordable housing, and Lisa's committee really is this resource center. And so she's done a phenomenal job, and I know everybody's helped her, and Cara has been an integral part of this, as well as United Way. So, thank you to all those agencies, Cara especially, since they're kind of stepping up, and they're going to be the main person manning this new resource center. And it's actually the CG Helps Resource Center at Peart Park. So it's the old Peart Center, and it's open now. It's open actually, I think, 6 or 5 or 4 days a week. United Way has it open 4 days a week. Yes, and the grand opening is the 29th of April for the resource center. Anybody can go. It's not just for the homeless. It is if you're having troubles with anything, if you can't get a Social Security number, you can't get an ID, whatever it is, come see us, come see the group at the resource center. That's what they're there for. They're there to help. And so we actually have a real place where people can go, and we're going to tackle the problems so we can get people in the right place and or off the street. So that's the goal. Water. I know a subject near and dear to lots of people in this room. I know I saw David Snyder, I know Mr. Powell, myself. I talk about it probably every day. And I am on EMS, a water basin study, which is a 2-year study with the Bureau of Reclamation, which is going to take a look at everything from bedrock depths to water tables to plans and programs for conservation. So I know that's all very boring stuff, but it's important. It's very important to this county. It's important to our farmers. It's important to our economic growth, to new industry, new business that comes in, and we really need to fix this situation. I truly believe we have wet water. One of the issues is the paper side of it, and so we're going to try and deal with that, and hopefully also in the meantime do some conservation efforts and some smart water policy. The Science and Technology Center, I mentioned it. I'm actually tomorrow meeting with ASU for the second time to discuss how we can get ASU and U of A here in Casa Grande in a new, might be an old building, but a new, for us, training center. And so I'm going to have serious conversations with them tomorrow. They say they'll come, but they say that we have to supply the building. And I say, okay, if I supply the building, then will you be here? So that's where we're at. We're negotiating. I think it's a phenomenal opportunity for the city of Casa Grande. It will help support our industry that's here. It'll also help support young people coming in, getting training. We'll collaborate with CAC, with our high schools, internships, partnerships. It's all about collaboration. It's all about what we can do to make Casa Grande better for our people. So we're going to continue to push that. I want to hit the census 2020 because this is extremely important. Next year is a census year. And if you think about it, Casa Grande is about 56,000 full-time residents. We also have 25,000 part-time residents. And I call them part-time residents because they are residents. They live here a good portion of the year. So if you know any of them, you need to make sure you get them to sign up and fill out the census, even if they're from Canada. If you're from Canada, you can fill it out because you impact us. You impact the community. You use our roads, you use our libraries, you shop in our stores, and we appreciate that, appreciate the sales tax, but it represents about $2,000 per person counted per year. That's a minimum. So for every person we can get counted, it's $2,000 additional money, shared revenue that comes back to the city of Casa Grande that we can then spend on services for the community. So it's critical, critical, critical. I can't overemphasize how important this census is. There's two areas, again, that we're going to concentrate on to try and help people fill out the census. One is the Latino community, those who are maybe afraid to talk to somebody. We need to reassure them this is not a roundup. They need to be counted. And if there are questions on the survey they don't want to answer, don't answer them. It's okay. But we need to make sure people know that. So our efforts now in the next year, really, because the census will be taken almost this time next year. It starts, I think, the 23rd of March. So that's when you can start getting online and filling out your census. But we need help. We need the whole community behind this. So you're going to hear a lot about this over the next year. We are going to dedicate some city money, some capital to put into a fund to try and make sure we get that communication and that word out to everybody. So keep it in mind. It's going to be really, really important in the next year. And then finally, there's a Governor's Art Award that's given out every year. They give about, 6 or 7 different awards for different things, but they only give one art teacher award in the entire state of Arizona. One. And that one lives here. And it's based on her commitment to the community, her commitment to her kids, commitment to art. So what I'd like you to do is keep an eye on the screen and let's meet that one.
Casa Grande is very fortunate to have the opportunity to have many great teachers. However, Erica is that extra great teacher. She's able to motivate her students. She goes the extra mile. Recently, she received a big grant from one of our sports organizations here in Arizona. She seeks funding opportunities through the Arizona Commission on the Arts and also through our local Arts and Humanities Commission. So she doesn't just say, okay, there's no funding. She goes out and she looks for the funding to be able to provide learning experiences for the students.
Erica's work is important. For her, it's about making students who are innovative creators. They become part of our community and they become part and continue their education in art. The influence that Erica had on her work by being born and raised in Casa Grande is significant to both her and her husband, Matt. For Erica, she was able to go back into that school system where she first learned about her artistic skills and be able to continue teaching that to her students today.
Erica not only teaches art inside the classroom, she teaches art outside the classroom. She has partnered with the school district and has taken her students and painted murals on school buildings. She has partnered with the Casa Grande Arts and Humanities Commission and has gotten her students motivated and involved in taking part in the commission's plein air event. So students get an opportunity to come out to the community and paint. They get to showcase their art and get an opportunity to also get prizes for their art that they have painted. She has taken students who have gotten in trouble with the law for example, for graffiti, and she's taken them under her wing to show them the value of art and how they can use it in a positive manner. So she's taken these students and had them help her paint art on city buildings and facilities through murals.
I had the opportunity to see her grow through her art, but Erica has visions dancing in her head, and she's being able to take those visions that dance in her head and give them to her students so they can dance also.
So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the Governor's Arts Award for Educator of the Year, Ms. Erica Herman. All right, so this started out as a joke, and then the more I thought about it, the more I thought, that's a really good idea. So we did a proclamation for Erica, since she's kind of a gem for us here in Casa Grande. So let me read. I'm not going to read all of it, but I'll read some of it. Whereas Erica Herman is an active artist and educator in the community of Casa Grande, whereas Erica is regarded as a gifted artist who donates many hours to students to help them find their talent in the art world. Her positive, friendly attitude makes it easy for students to be able to connect and trust her. She uses past and present students and kids from the Juvenile Court Division program to help complete murals in the community, showing the participants that art can be a way out of trouble in their lives. So whereas acknowledge Erica's dedication as an artist and educator, she's been awarded the 2019 Governor's Arts Award in Education for an individual. So now, therefore, I, Craig McFarland, Mayor of the City of Casa Grande, do hereby proclaim April 4th, 2019 as Erica Herman Day.
The kids want to know if they get a day off, so if you guys see my superintendent next year on this day.
Congratulations, Erica.
Thank you.
All right, so just want to thank everybody for coming out today. I have one more thing I want to do before we leave. And number one, I want to encourage everybody to please check the facility out. Walk around. We're going to open these doors over here also. But check the facility out. Make sure you sign up. You don't have to pay today, but put your name on the list for membership. And then, again, thank my wife and my daughter for being here today, and the council members here also. Thank you guys. Special thanks to our staff. Please give them a round of applause. They really don't get the recognition they deserve, but we're lucky. This city of Casa Grande has, I think, the best city staff in the state. There's 91 cities and towns in the state of Arizona, and I think we have the best. So, thank you. And again, one last shout out to Hayden for a great job, guys. This is a beautiful facility. Thanks for getting it to us on time, although I know it's not quite done yet, but we'll expect that in the next couple of weeks, right? Okay, I'm getting the thumbs up. All right. So if I can ask the council to come up, please.
Yeah, we'll hold on.
All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming.